Get out! Now!" Alessandro Russo's voice cut through the elegant dining room of Stella Notte like a knife. His hand gestured sharply toward the door, his face twisted with disgust. The man standing in the doorway didn't move. He was old, maybe mid-70s, wearing a faded military jacket that had seen better days. His boots were scuffed, his face weathered. He looked tired, hungry. "Please," the old man said quietly. "Just a bowl of soup. I can pay." "I don't care," Alessandro interrupted, stepping closer. Around them, the restaurant's wealthy patrons turned to watch. Designer dresses, expensive suits, the ambient lighting caught on champagne glasses and gold jewelry. This was Manhattan's Upper East Side. Stella Notte. $300 per person, Michelin-starred. The kind of place where image was everything. And this man, this homeless-looking veteran, was destroying that image. "Sir, we have a dress code," Alessandro said, louder now, making sure everyone could hear his reasonableness. "We have standards. You're making our guests uncomfortable. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." The old man's shoulders sagged. "I understand. I'm sorry." He turned toward the door. Alessandro nodded to the security guard, a large man in a black suit, who stepped forward to escort him out. That's when the limousine pulled up outside. Alessandro Russo had built his life around this restaurant. He was 35 years old, and Stella Notte was his crown jewel. In one of Manhattan's most prestigious neighborhoods, Michelin star, 3-month waiting list for reservations, 400,000 Instagram followers. Celebrities came here. Actors, CEOs, politicians. Alessandro photographed each one, posted to social media, hashtag Stella Notte, hashtag luxury, dining, hashtag NYC finest image was everything. Perception was reality. And having a homeless man begging at the door, that was unacceptable. Alessandro accompanied the security guard outside. The old man still stood there, under the streetlight, hands in his pockets, looking cold. "Sir," Alessandro said sharply, "I've asked you once, please leave. If you don't go, I'll call the police." The old man, Richard Cooper, 74 years old, though Alessandro didn't know his name and didn't care, looked up. There was no anger in his eyes, just exhaustion. Deep, bone-deep exhaustion. "I understand," Richard said softly. "I'm leaving." He slowly started walking down the street, stopped by a building, leaned against the wall, and sat down on the ground, rested his head on his arms. Alessandro returned inside, satisfied. Problem solved. Inside the restaurant, customers were whispering. "Poor man," said one woman. "But Alessandro is right," her husband replied. "Places like this need to have standards." At another table, a young couple pulled out their phone, recording video. "This is going viral," the woman whispered. "Rich restaurant owner kicks out homeless veteran. Twitter will love this." But no one, not Alessandro, not the customers, saw what was happening on the street. A black limousine had stopped. The driver opened the door, and a man stepped out, full military dress uniform, 4 stars on his shoulders, dozens of medals on his chest, posture straight, face serious. General James Hartley, United States Army, 50 years of service, just left the Pentagon, had come to New York for dinner, and he saw the old man sitting alone against the wall on the street. The general stopped, looked. Something was familiar. The jacket, that faded military jacket, the way he sat, the particular slump of the shoulders, that was how someone who'd carried too much weight sat. The general looked closer. The old man lifted his head, and the light hit his face. The general's world stopped. "Richard?" he whispered. The old man turned his head, confused. "Richard Cooper?" Recognition came slowly. The man's eyes widened. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. General James Hartley, 4-star general, commander of thousands, advisor to presidents, dropped to his knees on the dirty Manhattan sidewalk and wrapped his arms around the homeless veteran. "Richard," the general said, crying. "My God, is it you? Is it really you?" Richard's eyes filled with tears. "General Hartley? I've been looking for you for 20 years, the general sobbed. 20 years. I searched everywhere. You were gone. Alessandro stood frozen in the restaurant doorway. Customers watched from the windows. Phones came out. Everyone was recording. The general stood up, helped Richard up, still holding him. Then he turned to Alessandro, and his eyes were ice. "Who are you?" the general asked, his voice low but dangerous. Alessandro swallowed. I'm the owner of this restaurant, Stella Notte. Sir, is there a problem?" "A problem?" The general's voice rose. "Did you throw this man out?" Alessandro stumbled backward. We have a dress code, sir. This is a luxury restaurant. This man," the general interrupted, now trembling with rage, "saved my life. 1991, Gulf War. I was a prisoner, 6 weeks, Iraqi prison camp. I was being tortured. I was dying. And this man," he pointed at Richard, "this man saved me, alone. Volunteer operation. He entered the camp, found me, carried me on his shoulders, walked 15 kilometers. We were both wounded. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here now." Silence. Absolute silence. Alessandro's face went white. The general continued, his voice cracking. "And now, 20 years later, I finally find him. And you," he pointed his finger at Alessandro, "you threw him out because his clothes weren't good enough." Alessandro's mouth hung open. I didn't know. Sir, you didn't know," the general shouted, "because you didn't ask. You looked at a person and judged him. You determined his worth by his jacket. You never tried to learn his story." The general pulled out his phone, dialed a number, put it on speaker. "John, General Hartley. Do me a favor. Stella Notte Restaurant, Manhattan, Upper East Side. Right now. We're buying it. Immediately. Whatever the price." Voice on the phone. "Understood, General. Getting owner information. Our real estate specialist will be there in 10 minutes. Alessandro stumbled. No, wait, I'm not selling this restaurant. "Everyone has a price," the general said coldly. "And trust me, we'll pay it." Then he approached Alessandro. His face was stone. "And you're fired. You will never have anything to do with this restaurant again." Alessandro collapsed. "Please, this is my life. This is everything I have." "Richard Cooper once had everything too," the general said. "He had a family. He had a career. He had a home. But he lost it all because of PTSD, after saving me. And no one looked for him. No one helped. He lived on the streets for 20 years. And you treated him like garbage." 23 years ago. 1991, Iraq, near Basra. Prison camp. Captain James Hartley, 28 years old, U.S. Army, had been a prisoner for 42 days. Torture every day, death threats every day. There was no hope left. At the end of the 6th week, one night, he heard an explosion, gunfire, chaos. The door opened. A man entered, black clothes, face covered, Delta Force. "Captain Hartley?" the man whispered. "Yes," James answered in a hoarse voice. "My name is Richard Cooper. I'm getting you out of here. Can you walk?" James tried to stand. His legs trembled. 6 weeks of beatings, starvation, dehydration. "I don't know." "Then I'll carry you." Richard lifted James onto his shoulders. They left the camp. Enemy fire started. Richard ran, dodging bullets. 15 kilometers, 3 hours, never stopped. James was losing consciousness. "Why?" he whispered. "Why did you come back? Was this voluntary?" "Yes," Richard said, breathless. "Voluntary. Because no one should be left behind. Never." A helicopter picked them up. Both were taken to the hospital. James survived. Richard did too. But afterward, Richard was diagnosed with PTSD, panic attacks, nightmares. He feared harming his family. One night he left, never came back, cut all ties, disappeared. James searched for him for years, never found him. Now. The general looked at Richard. "I couldn't find you. But I never forgot. I prayed every day. I thought every day. I hope Richard is safe. I hope he's happy. But you were on the streets." Richard couldn't hold back his tears. I'm sorry. I got lost. I lost myself. PTSD. Everything was too much. My family, I wanted to protect them. So I left. You weren't alone, the general said softly. You were never alone. I was always here for you. I just couldn't find you. The two embraced. Under the streetlight, in the heart of Manhattan, two wounded warriors finally reunited. All the restaurant customers were crying. Videos were being taken. But now, no one supported Alessandro. Now, everyone was on Richard's side. 10 minutes later, the real estate specialist arrived. Documents were signed. Within 48 hours, Stella Nota restaurant was transferred to the general's investment company. Alessandro was removed. He received no compensation. His contract had a clause. Termination rights in case of moral failure. The video was proof. Richard entered the restaurant. Customers stood and applauded. Waiters hugged him, crying. The chef came, prepared a special meal. I'm going to ask you a question, the general said, sitting across from Richard. This restaurant is now mine, but I want it to be yours. Will you accept? Richard shook his head. I don't know restaurants. You'll learn, the general smiled, and I'll help. But more importantly, this will be a mission. Free meal program for homeless veterans. Every Tuesday and Thursday, any homeless veteran can come here. Free food, respect, honor. Richard's eyes lit up. That's wonderful. And you'll manage it, the general said, because you understand, you lived it. 3 months later, Stella Nota reopened. New management, Richard Cooper, operations director, General James Hartley, silent partner. Every Tuesday and Thursday, the restaurant opened to homeless veterans. Free meals, no suit required, just respect. The video went viral, 50 million views. Restaurant owner kicked out homeless veteran. General bought the restaurant and made him the boss. Alessandro's career ended. No restaurant would hire him. But 6 months later, he wrote a letter to Richard. Mr. Cooper, words will never be enough. I apologize to you. What I did to you is unforgivable. But I ask for a chance. I want to volunteer to serve your homeless veterans. Free. I just want to learn to be like you. Richard showed the letter to the general. What do you think? The general asked. Richard smiled. Everyone deserves a second chance. I was given one. Maybe I can give him one too. Alessandro was accepted. He worked in the kitchen, washed dishes, cleaned floors, and every time a veteran came, he served them, with respect, with humility. A year later, Alessandro started his own nonprofit, Second Chances, a program teaching restaurant skills to ex-convicts, homeless people, veterans, and every year, Stella Nota hosted a gala, Silent Heroes Night, an event honoring homeless veterans, full suits, Michelin-starred food, respect. Richard stood at the door those nights, greeting every veteran, embracing them, saying, "Welcome, you matter, you are not forgotten." And General James Hartley, always one step behind, watched with pride. Because true heroism isn't about saving a life once, it's about remembering every single day. Richard Cooper's story reminds us, appearances are deceiving. Don't judge someone by their jacket, because sometimes the most worn clothes carry the bravest hearts. Like, subscribe and share, because every veteran deserves respect. Have you ever misjudged someone? Share below. Remember, true worth lies not in appearance, but in character.